Before we officially start the meeting this evening, I would like to bring to your attention a couple of items. Firstly, that the notice of the forthcoming elections was received today, and that for those interested, the nomination papers are available on request from the office downstairs. The clerk will assist where possible with any questions regarding completing the forms today. Is also the commencement of PERDA. A copy of the leaflet of PERDA is available in the office. That will, if you ask for that, you don't know what it is, PERDA, if you ask for that, it will explain everything with the leaflet downstairs. Okay? And that includes the councillors as well. Secondly, I must bring it to the attention of the meeting that this will be the last meeting that will be clerked by Mrs. Maureen Prentice, who retires this week after 35 years of service to Filey Town Council. I would like to thank Maureen for her service over the period and wish her all the best for her retirement. Is there any other councillors wish to add to that, please? Councillor Wright.
I would like to say to
Can you
Maureen.
stand up, Maureen?
It's been...
No,
we don't listen to the
there we go.
To say thank you, Maureen. I'm leaving the council as well, and I've done 20 years, and it has been an absolute pleasure to be with you. You're an absolute fountain of knowledge, and I think your phone's going to be red hot between this council and your house, as long as you're not, on all of these. Because Maureen, she can go back obviously years, and she's got a wonderful memory, and she's been very fair with everybody. She treats everybody with respect, and she's a lovely personality, and I don't know how she's continued all these years, because sometimes you get asked some very awkward questions, don't you, Maureen? She's done the burials. She's very, very good with that. That's something that's not easy to do. You'd think I prepared this speech, wouldn't you? Really? It's just how I feel. I feel that you've done such a marvellous job, and we're really, really, really going to miss you. Well, I will, because I'm up here, but I will.
I'll meet with you for coffee.
Yeah, we'll meet up. We'll go on a few jaws then, I think. I mean, you're well over your retirement age, if I may say. Very aged.
I'm past Michelle by then.
No, she isn't. She could go on another 5-10 years, to be quite honest with you. But, as time comes.
I don't want to go out in a box.
No. Don't do your marrying, Anyway, thank you ever so much for being such a wonderful person, a nice person, and very knowledgeable. Thank you very much.
Councillor Haxby.
Yeah, I think Maureen started in 1984. When I started on the council in 1988. So Maureen's 34 years, I've worked with her for 32 of them. And what is remarkable about Maureen is that she's always cheerful. Whatever happens, whatever's happened, she smiles. And that just gives us all that uplift we need at times. And I am going to go on, Maureen, you know how I feel about you. Walking up Scarborough Road, knocking on doors, coming up, carrying you home, feel alive. I won't mention that, Maureen, that's very embarrassing. But we have some stories of Maureen drinking red wine. Maureen doesn't get on with red wine or vice versa, but the results were quite amusing. And we'll miss that, Maureen. And we'll miss your happy, smiling face. And I love you. I really do. Thank you very much indeed for Maureen.
Thank you, Councillor Haxby. Councillor Meek.
Well, I joined the council 2010, so about 8 years, nearly 9. To be honest, I don't know what I've done without it. Honestly, I don't. Get me up straight and now. I just like to enjoy retirement.
Thank you, Councillor Meek. Councillor Cockrell.
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, the same memory goes with age, but in actual fact it was 1983 when Maureen started. Because when I first joined the Town Council in November '83, she was already here. All I can do is echo everything that's been said. You'll be missed.
Right, thank you for that, Councillor Cockrell. Do any other councillors wish to say anything? Councillor Cross.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Really, you know, there's all them people on prominent notice board that have been with the Mayor of the town, and Mayor, she's done such a fantastic job helping and keeping all them mayors in strict order and keeping them in their place, and really it's a big thank you, and she has absolutely been a brilliant servant to the people of Filey. So I'd just like to say one thing, I think we should give her a round of applause.
Right, thanks for that. Right, we'll go straight into the ordinary meeting. Can I take apologies, please?
I have received apologies from Councillor Glanville, who has a prior engagement, Councillor Butterworth, who was attending the mayoral function, Councillor Shackleton, who is on holiday, Councillor Wilkie, who's working, and I have an apology from Scarborough Borough Councillor Haddington, who has a previous engagement.
Right, thank you for that. Do we all accept those apologies, councillors? Can you show, please? Right, yes. Okay. Declarations of interest. Council to receive any declarations of interest in accordance with the requirements of the Localism Act 2011, and to consider any applications for dispensation in relation to disclosable pecuniary interests or personal interests. Are there any? No? If anything crops up later on in the agenda, would you please say just before the actual agenda item comes up? Okay? Right, thank you. Public question time. Members of the public may speak now. Please note, only 15 minutes is available to members of the public to speak. Unfortunately, we cannot discuss any item that is not on the agenda as a public question time. I'm pretty sure that we'll get something said. Clark, would you mind saying something about Queen Street Gardens?
Queen Street Gardens, yeah. It was resolved on the extraordinary meeting of the council on the 23rd of January to look at the sale by the town council of Queen Street Gardens. What I would recommend to you all, if you're here for that particular reason, is to view the DVD of that particular evening, as it is very explanatory in terms of what was considered in terms of the sale of that land. Where we are at the moment in terms of the sale is, I have had to go into looking at the process and procedures of disposal of assets of the council, and there is a very hefty document which I have here if anyone wishes to get a copy from me. But basically the first step in going towards the sale of that land is in fact to get a valuation, as it is required that if the council sell any asset, it must sell that asset at the market value. In saying that, there are options to sell the land for under value if it is being sold for a particular purpose. and one of those purposes is to continue selling it being a garden. So if that is the case, it is possible for the council to decide to look at a variation on the valuation, which would allow the lands to be sold as a garden. That is where we are. There are no planning applications, there are no planning permissions have been put forward, there is nothing as of yet that is in any way, shape or form agreed to be done with that land at all. And again, if you look at the DVD, you will see that the council put in a number of the questions. One, that anything that was done to that land, we would look to maintain the view from Fisherman's Outlook and a lookout, and we would also look to use any monies that was gained from the sale of that land for projects that are directly related to the people of Firewood.
Right, thank you. Councillor Holden Banks first and then Councillor Anthony.
I understand what you're saying, Clark, although I wholly disagree with the amount of people that have come here today to have to say about Queen Street Gardens. I understand that you need to have time taken aside for this. We have people here that have formed groups wishing to go ahead and try and purchase this piece of land. There's community groups that have been formed together and people with great interest in what happens with these gardens. A lot of people have watched the DVD and there's a lot of questions about what councillors said on this DVD, which I won't personally go into, but I'm sure that people can pick it up if they wish, about it could be sold for £1 or, you know, is it something round somebody's neck? It's on the DVD. It was said.
I'm not disputing it.
I would like to propose to defer the sale of the Queen Street Gardens until after the 2nd of May elections, to give the Queen Street Garden Community Group the time and the opportunity to fully form with officers in place and a constitution in place. So I'm just asking you to defer the sale until we can get these groups together so they can come and present to the council what they would like.
Anyone could go ahead and look to produce or come together as a community group looking to purchase the garden. That's not a problem. All I would say is that in terms of there being any sale of the land, that is not going to happen in any way, shape or form in the near future, because there's a lot of hurdles to go through, including a public consultation period which must take place.
Well, back through you, Chair, if I may. If there's no worry, then can't we have it put through tonight that it can be deferred till after the elections then, because the councillors that made this might not be.
What we can do is to ask for that particular item to be put on the next meeting, to which we can then, as an agenda item, and we can then look to resolve that at that point in time.
Well, can we suspend standing orders so that we can have people talking then? Is that a possibility?
Yes, possibly.
We're in public participation.
No, but you can't talk about the gardens, I've just said.
You've only...
But there's all these people here that are obviously here too.
But before we go any further, can I bring Councillor Anthony in?
I just don't understand how the clerk can talk about it, but people can't give their views on it. I've been in this council chamber 2.5 years, and countless times it's been allowed for people to talk about things that have not been on the agenda. And I don't understand why when we've got all these residents here tonight that it's any different.
Councillor Mead.
Right, when the item was on the agenda to be discussed, and it was a public meeting as well, why didn't people come then? And tonight it's not on the agenda, and it's got to be put onto a further agenda to be discussed. It's got to be valued here, then put up for sale. And there's going to be at least another 2 meetings.
It'll be a lot longer than that before it goes up for sale, because there's a lot of hoops to jump through before you can even think about something.
It's already been decided it's going up for sale.
It does.
Well, the residents have no say in it, that they've dominated 20, 30 years.
Councillor Haxby.
Just to clarify the legalities, we cannot vote on it tonight, it's not an agenda item. but the public have 15 minutes to say exactly what they want.
Exactly.
But we cannot make any votes, make any decisions.
The only thing we can do tonight,
They can't talk.
the only thing we can do tonight is to put it on the next agenda for discussion by the councillors and any of the public that come in at that time. Councillor Wright.
Right, being as these people have made an effort to come, and it's been talked about all over Filey for quite some time. It's lovely to see some different people here. It's lovely to see some young people getting involved. I think the implications of why it went up for sale hasn't been made clear. I know I'm taking time up, but it's a lot to do with health and safety and the ground moving. And that is why you've got the cracked pavements. And yes, there possibly could be something done if you've got enough money to do it. And a lot of things need to be looked into. It's not just straightforward, simple, we'll take the gardens over, because we've been told to shut it down because it isn't safe to let people on. That's at the present moment. But I do think that we should take the opportunity of letting people here have their say and their, input into it, and give a few of them time to speak, and regardless whether it's on the agenda or not. And I think that's only fair because they have made the effort to come.
Listen to anybody's
Yes, we can listen to anybody's comments on this in public question time. But we cannot do any voting or anything like that at this meeting. This has to be put on the next agenda so we can actually do some voting on it. Okay, who's first? Can you say your name please and stand up?
Hello, I'm Terry Broadhead, and I'm thanking you all tonight for giving me the opportunity to speak on behalf of the community. I'm sure some of you are aware about the Facebook page Rebecca and I have set up in concerning the Queen Street Gardens. Unfortunately, Becky can't join me tonight, but I have got the backing of Councillor Jackie Holden. We have since learned over 400 locals and visitors share the same love for Queen Street Gardens as many of you in this room, and finally deeply disappointed to see another small but significant part of our heritage fall further into disarray, potentially sold. We are here tonight to ask the Council to consider not selling the gardens at this time, and to give the group that we represent time to get constituted and look into the further funding options. We are under no illusion that it's going to cost thousands to rectify for public use due to health and safety reasons. But we would appreciate the Council giving us more time to gather further proposals and local funding ideas.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to speak? Yes?
I'm Jules Rogers. I've only been in Farley 4 years. But one of the first things I did when I first came here was parked on Queen Street, walked down there and thought, wow, what a view. Now we live in. I don't understand how Scarborough can pay thousands to fix their problems, and we can't manage anything on Queen Street. Nothing. I just don't understand. Even if you let it go to Fallow and make it as a bird garden, put a bird hide there, that would be nice. I just don't understand why it's just been left. And now suddenly, almost secretly, because we only found out on the internet, it's the same.
It hasn't been secret, I'm sorry.
It's how it's felt. There's not been much information about it. It's only because I've got third hand.
I'll just put in now, if you care to go back, well back into the minutes, you'll see that it's been on agendas and agendas and agendas for actually trying to get...
It would be nice if there was public, something out there.
Public, it is every agenda, full council agenda, is actually advertised on notice boards around the town, where public are quite welcome to come. We're not frightened of hiding anything. We're quite open, and any member of the public can come along to any full council, in fact any committee meeting as well, they can come to. We've no objection to that at all. So where you get this about secrecy and all that, I do not know.
it's very difficult to find out what's going on.
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right. Yes.
I'm Lisa Bartley, I live number 17, I've lived
Yeah.
there 30 years. So I didn't know a thing about the meeting, or if it was on the agenda. If it's affecting something in the local area, why isn't there something made more obvious for people to see? Well, some people think there are, or big things affecting your area. If you want to come to the meeting to look at this and about this prospective sale of this garden, come to the meeting.
How many people you found
No
on
one's
the
supposed to
internet?
know.
Older people.
Just one at a time, please, so that people can hear what you're saying.
The fact of for the gardens as well. How, I mean, I don't know the amount that's going to be spent on this, and the model of the cobble and cobble landing. My husband was a fisherman for years. I used to sit at those up there and watch him coming home from state. I used to take the kids there. My son's on the lifeboat. I go down and watch him coming back from the lifeboat. But if this money can be put aside for a model of the cobble and cobble landing, why can't some money be used towards for the gardens, to keep the gardens there?
Behind you, first.
Several months ago, the issue of information about the agenda was raised at this meeting. That it was left too late and people were not informed. The agenda for this meeting was made on Monday, was made publicly available on Monday. So this issue about informing the public has been an issue for many, many months. It's not new. And this was raised with the clerk, with this council, many, many months ago.
Right, thank you. Yes, sir.
David Platts, I'm a resident of Queen Street. I'm just wondering, I'm not asking for any answers now, but I'm just wondering if, I imagine that costs have been determined, which have been determined to be prohibitive for local council to carry out repairs to the gardens, make them safe, but perhaps the Queen Street Garden Community Group could consolidate some sort of external fundraising for the gardens to be repaired, made safe, and for the local council to maintain gardens from then on. It's just something to be considered, and it might provide a very amicable solution to the whole situation.
Right, thank you. Councillors are listening to you, you know. We are taking it in. We aren't just sat here twiddling our thumbs. We are listening to you. Anybody else? Before I bring the councillors back in.
If the ground is supposed to be unsafe and dangerous, why are you selling something that's dangerous?
Councillor Wright, you want to...
Well,
I'll let you come in on that.
up to the person who buys it. That's why it has been said that it could be sold cheaply, because there is methods available for people to put a lot of things underground. Whether anybody would want to go that far, I personally don't think they will. But, you know, we'll put it out there and see if they have. Because I mean, you're talking £250 million, I would say, easily, to repair it, you know, with underground things.
Sorry to interrupt. There's a house there with a beautiful view across Cobble Landing. That was up for sale for about £1 million. So £250,000 to shore up that land, the drop in the ocean when you build these properties worth that much. And that view there, it's priceless, it really is. And somebody will come along with £1 million, it won't be a local, and they'll put a house on there. So that one person can enjoy that view, and not the rest of the town.
I doubt very much if there was that planning permission. Sorry, you know, very low. But
like, you know, people have been knocked down, not many people wanted that, people went ahead, not that that was highly, but...
I mean, ideally, it would be nice to see.
Yeah.
Ideally, the ideal thing.
Just an interesting point about what we're talking now. All that showering of floods is happening in Scarborough at the moment, behind the Star and everything. And that's a lot bigger project than here. So, I mean, I've lived here when the road's all been dug up and it's been digged down and bits of the back of the street, the ravine has fallen in. surely it's worth preserving for the heritage of the area.
Yes.
The view, definitely.
Well, not just the view, but the gardens itself. I mean, the population of Filey is getting older and older. And I'm a district nurse in Filey, and I look after the elderly population. It's easier for the elderly, especially up here, to go to there to look at the view and to enjoy the area than it is to get onto the seafront. Not everybody has the wherewithal to, not a lot of them can walk very far, and to try and get onto the Crescent, which is lovely, it's not as easy. There's a lot of elderly in this area that go and sit down there. I look after a lady who was on the very end house, and she was devastated when I told her. All she has left is that view since her husband died, and she lives there on her own, in that room at the front looking over it. She was gutted. I mean, it's only, I'm just passing her point of view on for her. I mean, she can't come, she's 90 odd, she can't leave the house, she's housebound. So that's just another point of view.
Right, thank you. The gentleman there with the cap on.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's, if this is put up for sale, will there be something written on it to say no buildings can be put there? Or is it going to be kept quiet?
No, it wouldn't be, nothing will be kept quiet because it'll be all in the minutes. Well, whatever we do, it's in the minutes and it's in public domain. The gentleman here first and then we'll come over there, okay?
Just ask you whether there's any money coming from Scarborough, possibly for this.
Pardon?
Is there any possibility of getting money from Scarborough for this?
There's a councillor from Scarborough there.
Well, they've taken our council tax, but they don't get money back.
Well, there's a lot of money being spent near the council park.
We lose
A lot.
everything.
And surely a small bit of that could be used for that.
Unfortunately, the Queen Street Garden belongs to the town council, so the town council are responsible.
But there's no way of getting any money whatsoever from Scarborough.
I can ask the question. I will ask the question, but I very much doubt. But really, they would need to know what plans are available, what plans anybody has, before they would look at any.
Sorry, what sort of plans are you talking about?
Well, plans for the future, what
Are
anybody
you ensuring it or making it safe, that's what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Not building.
Yeah, but some idea of how it's going to be done, what the costs are.
Have we not done that?
We've got so much cost done.
So, it's there.
If the town council pass it on to me, I will take it forward.
Perhaps we could.
If
that's the case, can you not see what you can do? Rather than just sell it.
Yes, but this will have to wait, any decisions, as I said before, will have to wait until the
Of
next
course,
election.
but if he needs some plans, then he can at least try.
Quite willing to.
Right, no, that's a very good idea. In fact, I want this putting on the next meeting, please. There you go.
Brilliant.
Okay.
Thanks very much. Yes.
All right then. Wait a minute, where am I? Oh, here, yes.
Thank you. I just agree with all the points that everybody said about the view and everything else, and I just want to mention that my grandparents, getting emotional, my grandparents' bench is down there.
My grandparents' ashes are down there.
And I know the bench could be moved, but their ashes were scattered on the drain.
I understand, love. I do. I really do. Yeah? Just take your time, love. Just take your time and speak. All right.
I've got quite a big family as well that live in Markham, and I've got others elsewhere, Leeds, everything else. And each member comes over to that spot. So it means a lot to a lot of people that travel a lot of miles. So.
Right, thank you, love, for that. Just a minute, Councillor. Yes, dear.
Since setting up a Facebook page, we have had a lot of people come forward and say that there's ashes and memories, particularly ashes down there, a lot of folk.
Yes, and there's also some on Facebook that said they've been going to build flats as well, which is a little bit of
But how do we know that somebody...
When the land's for sale, usually around this area, flat goes up.
Not necessarily.
9 times out of 10.
It's just like communication.
Does anybody else wish to speak? Because we've gone way over 15 minutes. I know, and I've been quite lenient on this with you. Okay. Does anybody else wish to speak tonight? Members of the public. I'm talking about. Yes, again.
Just one. As you can see, there's a lot of people
Yes,
here.
there is. That's
So
why I'm giving you a chance to speak.
Hopefully you'll take that into consideration that it is a big emotive situation now. It's not something that we're just going to let go.
Right.
We don't want it.
No. As you know now, it will be on the agenda for next month, right? Definitely. I'll make sure of that myself. And you're all welcome again. Honestly, we're not, we don't try to hide anything. All we try to do is the best we can. That's all we're trying to do. Because don't forget, we're spending public money, right? And that's what we've got to think about as well. You know, it isn't just beautiful new and all that, but we've got to think about the public money that we're spending as well. I mean, 30,000 up to now has gone on it. So, you increase that by another 200, which it would, which it'll cost for down there. Okay. Oh, by the way, the safety fencing has gone up today.
Will be starting to go up this week.
I think it came down to this afternoon to start putting the safety fencing down, which unfortunately we have to do for health and safety. Okay, and that will stop up until it's actually disposed of in a different way. It's not forced to go for building, as you know. You've got a chance now to come forward with some policy or other for us. Yeah? Yeah? And we will take that on board. We will, honestly. And the council as a whole, right, will listen to you. And we will take things on board. Okay, Councillor Holden Van.
Thank you very much. I would just like to say to the members of the public that are here that this decision that was made in the January meeting, at the special meeting by the councillors that were there at the time, this can be rescinded in 6 months' time, so it can go back to vote again, and the council can decide again what to do on this. It doesn't have to stay like this. We might get different councillors with different points of view after the 2nd of May. The councillors that made this decision might change their mind having listened. So it's not set in stone to that degree. Also, if we can get another 5 councillors to agree to have this put back on the agenda before then, I believe that can happen, can it not? Yes. So if there's other councillors that feel after listening to you that they might like to have a reconsideration about the decision that was made, that can also happen as well. So just to let you know, that isn't all, you know, has to be that way. If councillors are prepared to listen to the public and do what the public want, then it can be changed. And regarding the fencing as well, is that I was just going to say, that's already been spent, that money to do that, hasn't it? To
the
make it safe.
The money will, I think it's higher than it.
No, it has to be purchased.
It's purchased.
So we've
It's
purchased
special
it,
for the area.
So that's already done, so that's not to be paid out from this council again. So in my mind, why it can't just sit safe and secure in the place that it is now until this has a better resolution from everybody and on another meeting and decide going forward from there. Thank you.
Well, the problem is it isn't safe, and it's safe for people to stop them going in.
Oh, exactly.
But unfortunately the land isn't safe because it is actually moving.
Yes, but through you, Chair.
Sorry, does the silence just affect that little picture land, or is it the whole bank? You know, the whole bank where all the, you know, the other steps and the other properties, the gardens of the properties like the old Coast Guard chalet. Is it all affected, or is it just that?
We don't know. And that is one of the issues, is that we don't know the extent of the problem. And one of the major costs will be establishing what the actual state of the land is. Once that is established, we previously had work done about 2 years ago. Since then we've had other remedial works which have been done. But the effect of the remedial works we do not aware of how that's affected the land. So we need to do a considerable amount of other surveys to establish what
affect and what extent the area has. It could be, it is most likely that it will in some way affect the whole of the area.
So if it affects the whole of the area then, and those properties are privately owned, whose obligation is it to shore it up? Do the homeowners, would their insurance cover some of it? Like suggesting
that we don't know. You know, it's your responsibility for your property, but one of our issues is the liability we have with respect to that land.
As far as I know, I'm aware of, years ago, the land behind Queen Street on the ravine side, ravine top, they were wanting to build on there, but there was subsidence then, and it was classed not fit for building. So that's been happening for years. So why all of a sudden has it become crucial to sell that one bit?
Well, it's not, we aren't selling it for building.
No, but I'm saying, it's selling it because it's been happening for years.
But you're selling it to something.
You're saying it's been happening. But all the back of here, as far as I'm aware, I don't know if I'm correct in this, but years ago, I mean, I've lived down here for 30 odd years, nearly 40 years. The land at the back of there, the back of where Silas and all that, down the back of the house at Queen Street, were to be built on, and then it was stopped because of the subsidence and everything on the ravine. So that's been happening for years, so surely it's all connected. And they've dug that many big holes on Queen Street in the past for drainage. I mean, when I say they've been very deep up, it's got to affect the land somehow.
Well, exactly. And we have actually looked into that, and we've had tests done for that as well, to make sure it isn't the drainage that's leaking, and it isn't the water.
I mean, the hole that was down here for a long time, which was 40 years ago, was when I got married. It was the biggest hole I've ever seen. It was as deep as the houses were tall nearly, and that was there for months. So that's got to have something. So the land can't just sit bolt still like that. It's got to move. There's a lot of the big buildings down here, because my father was a landlord of the Fords for a long time, they don't have foundations.
No.
And the front of that building has been falling off. We moved here in 1977, and we had a bit of glass put on there, and there was a crack appearing then. The crack's the same as it was then, but it's still moving.
Yeah.
So it can't just happen.
No.
So
we haven't said it.
No, but why? So why all of a sudden has it become dangerous and unsafe?
Because we have to take on board I know it's health and safety and liability. I am aware of that, but surely, I mean, when they were made into the gardens like they are now, I can remember, years ago when Tommy Eamon, who was a fisherman down here, he tied them all up, and if it is in my recall, he sold the gardens to the council for £1. That's what he said, and he looked after the gardens. Yes, I do know that.
Yeah, but when they've been rejigged like they are now, why wasn't it sort of shored up better when it was made into the gardens as they are now?
I don't know, because I wasn't...
Was that the council that made it into the gardens as they are now, or council, or...?
It was a private
company.
It was a private entity. The Farley Town Council bought it from a couple who lived in Wakefield in 1987 for £750.
Yes. So who made it into the gardens as they are now? With the steep steps and everything like that.
I don't know whether the other councillors might know that.
I mean,
Councillor Cockbill.
Yeah, it was in 1987, it was one of the years I was mayor actually, where we decided to buy it because we were concerned about the unkept nature of it. It's going to be a bit of a tip. And I think there was 3 of us who were in this chamber now, Maureen, John Axby and myself, who were involved at the time. And we took it on and for the benefit of Farley. And the steps and such, they were already there. There wasn't a lot of physical work done on the, we call it the hard landscaping. On the soft landscaping, yes, planting the shrubs and things like that. But apart from that, it's more or less as it was. And to me, it was fine until we started getting the ingress of water from somewhere. And I know the town council spent a lot of money and time, and I think that's been successful. You asked about the stability of cliff top and the houses behind. If you look along the footpath, you can actually see a line in the tarmac where sheep piles have been put in. When they were put in, and how deep they are, who put them in, I don't know. But I would imagine they must go down the fairway, otherwise it wouldn't have been worthwhile putting them in. So I'll be surprised if there was any stability problems for these houses.
It's just a concern, really.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm quite aware of that. Yes, Liz.
Hi, Sally Mills. I was born here, and I've just, correct me if I'm wrong, but I've noticed in like the last 10 years we seem to have lost a lot of things in Filey. So starting with, I'm not saying this is Filey Town Council's fault necessarily, but the swimming pool, the police station was changed into back, some tennis courts have gone, and now I feel like it's just another thing, and it's becoming a bit of, not a joke because it's not funny, but a bit of, oh, we're going to sell something else to Filey, we're going to take some more heritage away. And my main question really is, why are we selling it? That's what I'm struggling with. Is it because you've exhausted every possible avenue there is to keep it? Have you asked Scarborough Council if they can do anything? Have you found out exactly how much it'll cost to stabilise it? Have you tried to maybe think of setting up it as a charity, everybody contributes, setting it up as a charity and keeping it going that way? Because all these people that come to Filey contribute towards the Hour and Alive significantly, and if they knew the same about the gardens, potentially they would contribute in a charity status of a garden that way. So my main question is why? If I can answer that at another time, or whenever.
Right. Okay. Well, the main reason is back to the old health and safety again. That's the main reason. And you can see where it's been slipping. You know the footpath that goes down.
Yeah, I get that, but why can't we
like
fix
that?
it?
But if that goes, it's going to set the bank like that as well with it. That's the main reason for the liability on the people of Filey.
And I understand that, but my main question is why? Have you exhausted every possible avenue of fixing it in terms of getting money before deciding to just sell?
And would that, if it did slip, would it affect the steps that run underneath that? That would not, they would possibly be affected by that, the land a bit further down.
Well, that's another thing.
Another part of the beach.
That's
Swimming in the beach, isn't it?
Well, that'll disappear then, so.
Like there must be money somewhere from someone.
Councillor Haxley.
It's not a knee-jerk reaction as it goes back several years, and it's minuted for several years. And the council came to the point where recently we realised that it was going to cost an inordinate amount of money to cure the problem, which we couldn't afford. Now, one of the ways we look at going forward is to sell it. Just
So
look
what
at
were the other
selling.
ways?
But, if you heard the Mayor right at the beginning, that involved an extremely important codicil in that the view should not be compromised.
Yeah.
That is what you should all remember, is the view should not be compromised.
But I think it's not just that.
But we're only looking into it now. I personally welcome a community group taking it on.
That kind
Because
of
Scarborough Borough Council and Councillor Cottle's quite right in that, yes, we own those gardens, but they've just awarded £1.5 million plus to the Southcliffe Gardens, which are owned by Scarborough Borough Council. And Scarborough Borough Council have let those gardens fall into the disrepute they're in, and now they're putting another £1.5 million into solving them.
So have we
Now,
asked
Scarborough Borough Council isn't parish. So we're actually paying for those gardens being done, because it's our taxes that are running Scarborough Borough Council.
But have we asked Scarborough Borough Council before deciding to sell? Have you gone to
No, because
and said all of this?
still
and then-
looking at all sorts of eventualities. As the clerk's already mentioned, the sale is not an easy, yes, we'll sell it for X million. It's not that. We could sell it for £1 to the right people. So when you hear the sale word, it implies a lot of money, a lot of cash, big buildings, millionaires. It's not necessarily so. To the right people, it could be for £1. And that could be a community group who are keeping it to the same use as it's at now. And it's up to you to get Borough Council, and I wish you the best of luck,
It's all right,
to get the money out of them. And to answer Lisa's question about this silly cobble idea, £30,000, the council has agreed in principle to pay up to £19,000. up to £19,000 towards it. But we have put the subject to us agreeing the plans, the siting, the detail, etc. So we could still say no if we don't agree to that. So that is not a double thing. You know, no matter what you read in the press, all these publications you're reading and people...
Well, that was a question sent from Bob.
It's not set in stone. We still have got the right to give £1 to it if we want to.
But if you can even think about giving 19,000 to that, why can we not even think about giving 19,000 to fixing the garden?
To be fair, 19,000 to the gardens is a drop in the...
I know, but at least it's something.
We've already paid Scarborough Borough Council a fortune to do the work for us. They didn't do it. We paid them to do it.
So,
And they didn't.
so why didn't it happen? Why are we paying the Scarborough Council to do work for Filey Parish and it's not happening?
The work happened and it's solved a short-term problem.
Right.
It's not solved the long-term problem.
No. And that's where we're stuck.
But am I correct in thinking that we are paying Scarborough Council X amount of money and then we are not receiving enough money to rectify the problems that we have in Filey, but they are receiving from us the money to rectify the problems in Scarborough. We're only a little town. How can we be supposed to be supporting Scarborough when we're finding it difficult to support our own little town?
Councillor Cockrell, can you answer that?
Well, I can help, and I'll use Councillor Axby's favourite word, double taxation, which we completely agree with. And it's been mentioned that Scarborough town isn't parished, yet everywhere else in the borough is. So you get the county council tax, the borough council tax, the fire and whatever, but you also get the town and parish council. And it's totally unfair.
Yes.
Totally unfair.
Yes, but what can we do to change this? Is there any possible way of changing it?
At the borough council some years ago, the then leader of the council tried to get people in Scarborough to come forward and form a Scarborough Town Council.
Yeah.
But it was like, you know, getting turkeys to vote for Christmas.
Yeah.
And so it's the fact of life, it's frustrating.
Yes, definitely.
It was Filey Urban District Council and then it was all...
Pre-74.
Yeah, we're going way back now when it was all taken over and everything. Councillor Holden down.
The last thing I would just like to say, personally, in my point of view, in response to what Councillor Haxley said, was that if a community group does get together to take these gardens forward, they can apply for the same things that Scarborough did on their gardens. You can apply for heritage. They apply for all different funds. It's all available for you of whichever group applies. It isn't just for Scarborough, it is for everybody. So don't think that Scarborough's getting more. You can apply if you meet the criteria. You can have it and then the money can be spent for that as well.
But could the council not have done this? I think this is what I'm struggling with. Could the council have not applied for heritage, have applied for this, have done all of this? Or can you not?
I personally thought that could have happened, but you might have to ask the chair or...
Is that something you can't do, apply for all these funds?
We can apply for so many of the funds, but we can't apply for them all. The simple reason is it's through legislation. There's some funds you can apply for and there's some funds you can't apply for.
Could it be considered then?
It's a minefield when a town council goes in for that type of... Before you make Councillor Anthony.
Just to say that we could have applied for funding, and it was something that I tried to bring up time after time in meeting. I sent the clerk information on tax refund. We never even considered that, I'm afraid to say. That's true.
Right, Councillor Cockrell, and then I'm afraid I'm going to have to bring this public question time to a close because we've had nearly 3/4 of an hour now. So we've got a lot to do to get through the agenda as well. Okay, please, just a second, Matt. Please come along next month, right? And you can listen to the councillors what they say. And if any of you have anything to say, put your hand up, right? And I have the power to stop the councillor speaking and let you speak. But only if it is a reasonable thing to say. We can't keep repeating one another and one another and one another. That doesn't work. You have to get together, get a spokesperson, right? And then that spokesperson can speak on your behalf, whichever groups you are, one for each group, which would be ideal, right? And it'd save us a lot of time, and it would save you a lot of time, to be honest. Okay? Is that fair enough? I'm trying to be fair, yeah? Okay.
Just one last to
Just
emphasise.
a minute, John. There's Councillor Cockle, I haven't finished, I've jumped him on here.
Yeah, if at your April meeting, Mr Mayor, you decide you want to take it further and look at the funding, I'm quite happy to speak to the officers at the Borough Council and seek their advice as to, point them in the right direction.
Thank you very much, Councillor.
Thank you.
Okay, Councillor Haxley, quickly.
Absolutely amazed. Because what Filey's lacked, and this is to answer Sally's question, is that Scarborough Borough Council employs a lot of highly paid officers that do 99.999% of their work for Scarborough. Ask Councillor Cotton how much time they spend doing things for Filey, such as applying for funding, which they're experts at. They've got all the plans, they've got all the spiel. They're used to doing it. But ask him how much time his officers spend in Filey. And the answer is very, very little, other than to spend money selling off the tennis courts to make money for Scarborough Borough Council. And that's where your money's going.
But Mr Maxwell does do
Right,
it.
Chairman, I will
you can come back on that, Councillor Cockle, and then I'm sorry, but I'm going to have all public questions.
I will come back and say, I forget which meeting it was, and I think it was a couple of meetings last year when I came to the Town Council, and I specifically asked the Town Councillors what projects they wanted me to look at the investment for in Filey, and nobody put forward any ideas.
Really?
Perhaps say something about yourself.
I asked you.
That's enough,
No progress.
That's enough, thank you very
No,
much.
but it doesn't
Right.
ask me, I'll listen to you.
Right. Councillor Roderick, do you want to say anything?
I would like to just say something, yeah. Being fair to all sides on this one, it's not easy. But I did do a bit of work about this when it first came up. I was interested to see what was available. And I went about this in a different way by looking at various organisations who had got experience in dealing with it. The upshot of it all was that there was quite a lot of money around that basically, as you just stated yourselves, you need a group with a bit of proper constitution to actually apply for it. But the Town Council could apply for it. A lot of these things are available to you. And I wasn't at that meeting, I watched the video and cried. Because I just felt that what an opportunity was being missed. That what could have been an asset turned into something of a liability because nobody made the right inquiries about what else could we do.
Through you, Chair, Christine, if you'd have brought it to the Property Committee, which you are on, they would have been...
I know, and it's like I called a special meeting, we won't be having this meeting now, haven't we?
No, it's been through the Property Committee.
We know what it's been through, Marilyn, and we know that it was you that caused a special meeting.
Actually, Councillor Roderick, it wasn't Councillor Anthony that called the special meeting. It was me that called the special meeting to try and sort this out. So can we have all facts right before we start?
I will beg your pardon, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, right. Councillor Meakin, then that is definitely it.
I think we've said enough on this subject and we should move progress.
Thank you, Councillor Meakin. Right, I'd like to thank you all for coming on tonight. We've come way over 15 minutes, but if you could, a bit of advice, if you could, your groups, get somebody to speak for you, right, in your groups, a spokesperson, right, get two in case the other one's ill, okay, and then, this is all of you, you're all one group here, okay, well if you're all one group, 3 speakers then, if you're all on one row, and that covers the 15 minutes then, you see. That's what I've got to look at as well, because...
Well, tonight, obviously.
Yeah. I know. To be honest, I have been very, very lenient, so you can all speak. Okay. So thank you all for coming along. Thank you. You can stop as long as you want. You're not bothered. But if you do, please be quiet at the side. Somebody's going for a pint. And please, don't forget what I said. Please get somebody to speak for you. Okay, in the group. Councillor Roderick. Councillor Roderick, can you just be quiet unless you're speaking, please? Because nobody else could hear. I could hear you two speaking there. From here.
Right, good luck.
And don't
Your
forget,
ear is good for your age.
and I can live free.
So can I.
So don't forget, we are being...
Clean up with it, please, Mr. Chairman. It will do.
Don't forget, we are being filmed tonight, which will
Yes,
go
I know
out
what
of
we're
that. Okay? Right. Thank you all for coming. Don't forget to sign off on your way out if you're going out. As I explained before, it's all in case we have a fire, so we know everybody's in where they are. Okay, thank you very tomorrow or Friday,
Yeah, tomorrow, Friday. Mine's at 4.
Yeah, I'll come on Friday.
No, that's fine, honestly.
Yeah.
Bring your own trolley outside.
Okay, thank you.
I've got my 8 ladies on that. How many more is there out there? Any more on that? Right, councillors, can we carry on, please? It's number 4 on the list, and we're on to North Yorkshire Police Report. Vicky.
Evening. How do you follow that, eh?
Well, I have a good person there just in case there was trouble.
All right. I don't know if there's anything anybody wants to ask me about the report this month. There's an awful lot of road-related stuff on there to do with drug driving, I have noticed. And it is all ongoing at the moment, so I've written Cat a great deal about it, but needless to say, it is more prevalent and we are catching people more and more, which is great. Anybody want to ask anything or?
Is that people who are dealing in the town?
No,
Potentially, we've got one there who was arrested for being concerned in supply, but he was also drunk driving, so his car was stopped, and he was tested for the, and he was over the limit for cannabis, I think it was, and then they found all the things that allowed us to arrest him for being concerned in supply as well. So it does go on inquiry, we are aware that it goes on, we are taking steps to deal with it. There's a lot going on that we're like swans. There's lots going on over there, but we don't look like they're in on top. So there is dealing going on, but we are taking steps to make sure we deal with it. But yeah, for us, it's one of these things that people think that drug driving isn't as serious as drink driving, and it is. We do take it seriously, and we will catch them. We've had proactive groups and we've had traffic officers across, and that's what resulted in those stops. One man, I think it was in the paper as well, wasn't it? One man was stopped 3 times in 2 weeks and was arrested. So, well, what's it going to take? But is there anybody who would like to say something else?
Right, Councillor Huxley.
Yeah, Vicky, the thing, I know Kevin had wanted me to bring this up, but he's unfortunately not here. Pictures on Facebook about parking outside the infant school.
Right.
There's been a big thing this week about it. And yeah, they don't park there when the warden's here, and as soon as he's gone, blah, blah, blah. I think it's becoming a bit of a dangerous thing.
To be fair, they don't park there when we're there either, surprisingly. However, somebody did do it to me one day, and then told me that they were allowed to stop there because they weren't actually stopping. Okay. It is a council issue. It is the civil enforcement officers can deal with it. We can't because of parking on streets and all that.
It's just that age group, you know. At junior school they should be more aware.
Yeah. I mean, it goes on at both schools, unfortunately, but they do have a crossing at the junior school, so it's not as prevalent. But the infant school, somebody is going to get hurt. I agree with you completely.
And there's some pressure you could put on county.
Yeah, we should.
Borough Council, whether it is.
There was a really vicious rumour going around that we were getting our own parking attendant with his own office in the Evans Centre. It's not materialised as yet, but I'm sure that's imminent. I'm being told that's imminent. I have seen them the last couple of weeks on the odd occasion been around town. But yeah, certainly I can go back and we can sort of say we need people up there. Last time I saw him up there, he parked his van half on the footpath and half on the road. I wasn't quite sure how he was going to stick it anyway. I certainly will mention it and we'll see if we can put some pressure on them from our point of view.
Right, thank you. Councillor Anthony.
Just want to say it needs to be done as a matter of priority. I was up there picking the child up from the infant school, and this woman was expecting me to back out where the kids are coming out of school because I was going round the back. There was somebody parked in the bus lane and somebody parked a big 4-wheel drive parked on the double yellow line, and I went, and she went,
and when we do that,
somebody's going to die, some kid's going to die.
I agree with you completely, and it is a problem, but unfortunately for us we can't be there. Well, we can't be there every school turning up time and kicking out time because sometimes there's only 2 of us on and you get a road traffic collision. It takes up both of us.
Is there something Councillor Cockerill or Councillor Cross could take up? Is it county or borough?
What we're doing today? I was just going to mention, who said that the CAT meeting is the 20th of March next week, it's 7 o'clock next week.
I will certainly get in touch. I'm on this at the moment, but what I'll do when I get back to the station tonight, I'll email the sergeant and ask him to pick it up in the morning and see if we can put some pressure on it.
Councillor Cockerill, please.
Could we write to the infant school head teacher and tell her that we have had lots of concern about parking outside of the infant school? Could she please send out a letter to all parents saying they are not to park out there, it is criminal offence, blah blah blah. And you attack it from all sorts of angles there.
I'm sure she would, and I think it is something that they've already done before previously, and it worked for a couple of weeks. and then people start...
Apparently she's retiring in a few weeks' time, it's the head.
Still got duty.
But if they get it early, it can be passed on to the new one. And the new head might have different ideas on it and push things forward a lot quicker.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Through the chair, they were up at, I was up at the junior school as well, just for the trip. And the kids themselves were outside with clipboards, and I said, what are you doing? She said, we're getting back people. So they've obviously been sent out to take notes of what people are doing with the parking.
Yeah.
The kids have got to do it.
Can I just say on a personal note, my children go to Glamber School, and they've been doing that for years. They have the kids stood outside in high-vis jackets. If they drive past them, the kids are there with a clipboard writing registration numbers down. No, it's all the fun. Every deadline. But it's the school being proactive from my point of view, and I can't knock that. But seeing the schools, they're certain little, and whether they grasp that concept or not is different.
Any more questions for our councillor here? Vicky? No? Yes? No? I'll just tell the public actually that there isn't many parish councils or town councils have the presence of a police officer giving a report on their monthly meetings. There isn't. I'm on YLCA and we get reports in asking for the police to attend their meetings, and this is all over Yorkshire. Alright, so I'm just adding that little bit because we have a really good team of police officers here that are willing to come and actually give us reports on that.
And we all do.
Okay. So if anybody else wants to say anything? No? Thank you. No. Thank you very much, Vicky, for coming along tonight.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you. Right, we'll move on. Borough and County Council's reports. Scarborough Council's reports. Council received reports from the Scarborough councillors for the Filey Town Council area. Who's first for the borough? Councillor Cockrell?
What's going around now is an update about the cobble, which I promised I would keep you informed as to progress. The Borough Council has agreed to act as the accountable body for the project, and following a tender exercise, the contract to design, manufacture and install the cobble will be given to Filey Fernscape Fabrications, and discussions are in progress in regard to an installation date. Toilets. As I've previously reported, the officer recommendations in regard to phase 2 review of public conveniences, including Filey's, is due to go to the February meeting of Cabinet. This item is now on a forward plan to be discussed in June, and I continue my opposition to any permanent closure. Regarding the potential fitness suite at Ebor, I attended a meeting at York last month about which your clerk reported to your February meeting. From the information provided, I believe it is extremely unlikely that the hoped for development will be able to come to fruition. You will recall that over £300,000 have been allocated to this project by the Borough Council, but it is time limited, the deadline being July 2020. The consequence of the funding not being fully committed by that date is that it would go back into the central pot. I'm determined that this not insignificant amount of funding is not lost to Filey. Consequently, I raised the matter at yesterday's executive board meeting and asked that the scope of the use of the funding be widened to include other potential sports/leisure developments in Filey. I'm pleased to say that I received support for my proposal, but conditional on the Town Council not objecting. And I hope you agree that it is vital that this hard fought for funding is not lost to either. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions, Councillor Cockrell? Councillor Wright? No? Nobody? Councillor Meek?
I may be wrong on this. Didn't you know Cobble have a cabin on it? It's just an open boat.
No, the first one was an open boat. There's one in the museum.
Similar to that one in the museum.
Yeah. That's cleared that up for you. Any more questions for Councillor Cockrell? No?
Could I have the councillor's thoughts on extending, widening the scope for that funding?
Widening the scope for that funding?
Needs to be an agenda item, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
Could I gauge some feelings without being formal?
Well, actually, we said that when it passed it, it was going to go up to 19 grand.
Are we on about
No.
No, we're not talking about the cobble now.
I'm talking about the sports leisure.
Sports leisure.
Oh.
It's the borough's allocation of 300k. I mean, all right, the
I
town
find
council
it hard
for
to
about
be able to
65.
decide when you're speaking low, that's all.
Must be my dulcet tone.
But I can live through. Councillor Overmont.
If this £300,000 that has, we've got pledged to spend in a particular timescale within Filey, and we can broaden the scope to spend it within Filey, then it would appear to me to be ridiculous not to take up the offer to spend the money in Filey. I do believe Councillor Haxby a couple of meetings ago mentioned about having a focus group, and maybe it's this focus group, when we get it together, could look to spending this money on, unless there is an area that is thought to be spending this money on that, you know.
At the moment, just initial thoughts.
You know, that we could do as a council, get the focus group together with this money and spend it in an area that's good for Filey sports, leisure.
I mean, through you, Chair, I was going to ask Councillor Meek what the progress is on the skateboard park.
He's just put his hand up to speak, actually.
I was just going to say the skate park is having an AGM on the 1st of April, 1800 in the Everton Centre, and you'll all be welcome. We're having a fresh start, and hopefully, I would like, if possible, I will go along with what Mike's been saying. Hopefully, the skate park may get some of that funding.
Is that okay?
That's fine. I mean, last week I was actually invited to a meeting. There's a move to create what's called a BMX pump track. And, you know, that's early days. Things like that, I think there is potential for other schemes, providing there's general agreement to why, you know, because we think that EBO's unlikely to come to fruition, that we could widen that scope. And that's all I'm after, a very basic, go for it, and then we can, you know, start talking more seriously.
Councillor Meek.
Unofficially, it has been suggested that this will be on the agenda at the next skate park meeting and combine them both in one project. So it's the 1st of April, 1800 at Room 11, Everton Centre.
And anybody is welcome.
More than merrier.
Good. Okay, Councillor Anthony.
Well, I would certainly support the idea of us trying to, you know, get hold of this money and keep it in Filey.
Is that any more questions for Councillor Cox?
I'll take that as positive.
Yes.
Yes.
No?
Yes, I think it's marvellous.
Right, Councillor?
I was just going to agree that taking positive in principle for this 300,000 to be on a focus group to look to spend it in Filey. I think that's what Councillor Cockrell's looking for, an answer from this council that he can go back and say that Filey Council in principle are happy to look at this money. If it's not going to be spent at EBOR, can be spent on other sports facilities or sports and whatever that money was put aside for the Eborn Academy.
Yeah.
So I think I'm just looking for someone to say.
Right.
That was for me.
Right. Okay. But the outcome of that meeting will be before the next full council meeting. So if that comes back to full council with them working together, right, we could then propose the seconder to take that forward that way then.
There's a potential for...
And we most probably find out a little bit more from Eva. I said might. Councillor...
I don't know if you want it now or later. I'd like to see it on the next agenda.
Next agenda. Right. Down councillor meeting. Okay. Is there any more questions for Councillor Cockrell? No? Right, thank you very much, Councillor Cockrell. Councillor Cross, have you anything to...
Yeah, on the follow-up on the question that Councillor asked me at the last meeting with regards to the 1.5 million that was spent on the gardens. It actually, I think we forward to something about it at the time, and it actually did come up at the last council meeting, and as you mentioned earlier, 1.5 million has been found and it was passed at the last council meeting. Fortunately, two of us voted against it, myself and Colin Addington, because we feel that as per chair, it's been final.
Okay, thank you for that, Councillor Cross. Is there any question? Councillor Anthony?
Can I just ask you, Councillor Cross?
You've gone then.
Oh, yeah.
The Housing Association, how are we getting on with the bins? Any progress?
I've heard nothing back from Harry Briggs.
Can you, could you chase it up? Thank you.
I wonder if Councillor Cockrell's heard anything on that one, seeing as though it's her.
No, it's something I've dealt with.
All right, so that was done outside then?
Yeah. Well,
Councillor Goldman.
Thank you. It's just a question for you, Councillor Cross. The DBID that was discussion at the council.
Oh, yeah, sorry for the mention that.
I was just curious that this council didn't get a vote on that then, because surely we must pay over 12,000 for this building, don't we? And we are a building that has... No, we don't own properties. We do own properties. We own council of blooming gardens that we're to do about. Sorry.
As you see.
I think the question has to be with regard to the DBID that I put forward as a motion that it be actually thrown out because of the expense it would mean to lots of businesses where the rateable values are more than 12,000, and with the town council have two properties where they actually took it to the council meeting and the councillors there decided which way they would like to bid on the particular DBID rather than it go to some anonymous person to cast a bid, goes to us or whatever, and it did go to with the town council, so I don't think we will have any properties in the Filey area that are more than 12,000
Right, thank you for that, Councillor Cross. Councillor Wright.
I did hear that one of the ministers put forward that he was going to insist on green bins being collected every week. We've just got into this system very nicely. I've talked to one or two people around about, and to be quite honest, it's going to cost more money to collect them every week, stop as we are. And will you have a choice to stay as you are? Will you? Because I personally think it needs to work out far, far better than we ever anticipated. And I think we should nip this in the bud before it gets too far. There are the odd properties that need emptying every week, but I think they can bring up and say, we need emptying, but, sorry, perhaps you know an answer to your council back into it.
And people's got used to it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Councillor Cochrane.
Yes, thank you. Just on the Southwood Gardens, I just think I ought to mention that I was the single person who spoke against the recommendation, and I abstained. As regarding the DB, yes, we're waiting for the Secretary of State to come back with that.
Yeah.
And until then, the Borough Council taking no action whatsoever.
Good.
Just ask how we speak against the subject and then abstain. Absolutely ridiculous.
For Councillor Wright, in answer to your question, that was put forward by Gove.
Yes.
And he wanted it weekly for food.
Yes.
And free garden collections, which I'm not against. But as I understand it, the Borough Council, along with other councils, through the Local Government Association, they're saying to go fine, but give us the money to do it.
Yeah.
Councillor
Regarding the green bins, my personal experience, and what my wife does, she bags everything that goes into the green bin, she bags it up, and it doesn't get put out every fortnight. Sometimes we go a full month with bins still on the half full, but there's only two of us. Secondly, like Councillor Cockle just said, spoke against the motion, this has happened in here, and then abstained. To me, if you're speaking against it, you don't agree with it. So how do you abstain on the subject you're speaking against? I just don't understand that.
You might upset some friends in the cabinet. Very sly.
I don't know. Go on that one.
Well, an answer from Councillor Cochrane, or is he keeping quiet?
I don't know.
Not if you're being your usual arrogant, insulting self.
Councillor Meeks already asked you, not me.
Now then, gentlemen, please, it's been quite nice up to now. Can we please keep it that way? Councillor Meeks.
Right, the same question. Could Councillor Cockle give me an answer, please?
I will give you an answer with pleasure, Councillor Mead. The actual project, I have nothing against it whatsoever. What I did object to was the finding £1.5 million from somewhere else, which I thought could be better spent on other projects. But I was not prepared to turn down nearly £5 million towards the scheme. So I couldn't vote for it, but I couldn't vote against it. I was 50-50, so I abstained. It's very unusual for me to do that, but in this instance, I decided that was the most honourable course of action.
Right, thank you very much for that, Councillor Cochrane.
Thank you for your reply.
Okay. Is any more questions for Councillor Cross? No? No, right, we'll move on then. We'll go to North Yorkshire County Councillor's report. Councillor Squires.
I think I can be brief. I was going to say something about the World Coast Railway Service, but I think you've got it in the later agenda item.
We are.
So I'll leave that out, yeah. The extra care housing scheme in Filey. The Housing and Care 21 have submitted a planning application for the extra care scheme. It's at Filey Fields Farm, I'm sure you all know.
We don't know that. What, sorry?
Oh,
no idea about this.
Well, I did ask, have everybody emailed around when we had the consultation, so I know you all know about it.
Where is it for? What farm is it for? I just heard farm.
It's Filey Fields Farm. And I did have everyone email to tell you when the consultation was. Fields. When we had the consultation.
Not with Fields Farm anyway.
Your clerk emailed everyone.
Did you email? Yes, but it's nothing from through planning anyway.
Well, no, when The plan should be available for viewing on the Scarborough Borough Council planning portal within the next few weeks.
Also, they haven't put it on there.
It's very fresh.
So, right.
Yeah, I can give you the approximate timing for the application and the start on the site. But I think these can be subject to change, but this is the best information I have at the moment. The determination of the planning application will be in May 2019. To start on site sort of July, August, subject of course to the planning determination being successful in May. And the completion of the scheme is anticipated to be autumn 2020.
Right, thank you for that. We get all planning applications come into this office from Scarborough that's relative to filing. So we will get it and we will look at it and we'll make a decision, put something in writing. We always do, put something in writing and send it back to Scarborough.
All the councillors were notified when the consultation at the Edmund Centre, and I can't remember the date.
Right, Councillor Mead.
This one is for North Yorkshire County Council. He just mentioned briefly, I know it's on the agenda later on, but this is for North Yorkshire. The Coast Railway.
Oh, sorry,
I know it's on the agenda later, but would North Yorkshire County Council advise Filey Town Council of any meetings that they are aware of so that councillors here can attend? It's in the past we've had nothing.
I will when I know of them, because
that's what I mean.
up until now I haven't been informed of any meetings, so I can only tell you what I know of.
Exactly, that's what he's asking for.
Yeah. Got to be psychic.
So,
no, I think that's about it in view of the time.
Right, thank you very much for that.
And then, does anyone have any questions for me?
Yes, Councillor Holden Banks.
I hope you're the right person to ask this to, but I had a gentleman in my shop the other day about the junction at the cross in Scarborough Road. There used to be some signs out saying slow turn in, and they just like disappeared.
Sorry, at the...
Right, you know where the cross comes down onto Scarborough Road?
Yeah.
It's a very sharp turning to come in or out of, and there used to actually be signage there saying go slow. It's just disappeared with just time, that's all. And the resident was just asking if it will be getting repainted. There's a danger of
Is there something there now?
Very yes, it's just very much freshening up. It's very sparse what is there now, like little bits of white paint. Yeah. But it has been there historically for a long time. Right.
Motorists can't actually read it when they're driving, so it needs
to
be
it is a bad junction.
I'll refer you back to the suggestion I made last year.
Bring them up myself.
No, to everyone. To use environmental groups. So when I often of these times, some are getting very dirty and
just on this road. But anyway, I've reported it.
Does anybody else wish to ask her? I'll come back to you in a minute, Councillor Cross. Councillor Mead.
I'd just like to thank Councillor Swales for all the work she did for the trees on Wharfdale. We didn't get done what we expected, but it's a lot better than it was. Thank you very much.
And you're happy? It is completed now, from all my information, the work is completed.
Yeah, it's not what I was told 25% topping, and I thought 25% topping, that comes off top. But it doesn't.
No.
Found that out. But it is a lot better
It's
than it
only
was.
where any branches that interfere with the highway or the footpath.
Thanks very much.
Okay. Does any other councillors wish to ask the North Yorkshire councillor any questions? That's Filey Town councillors. If not, I move standing order 25A and suspend the meeting so Councillor Cross may speak. Councillor Cross.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, just briefly, it relates to the fact that outside the post office, or where the post office used to be, there were various disabled bays. Unfortunately, as most of us are aware, the disabled bays are now are still there, and unfortunately the post office is not many people, and the travel into town, elderly people by car actually go to the post office, and we could probably do with a disabled bay moving from outside Murray Street onto John Street, and you know, disabled bays coming outside there, so disabled people can use them when they go to the post office, because it is now, as well as being the post office, it's where lots of people actually bank. So really just, you know, from that point of view, that could do with happening. And just one other thing, the footpath, we've had residents in about Queen Street Gardens, the footpaths down there either belong to the borough or they belong to county. You know, and so county really ought to be probably looking at what should happen to the footpaths down there and what state they are in actually. You know, there is one.
Right, thank you for that, Councillor Gross. That's another line we can take on the actual footpath. Yeah, thank you for that. I will now end the adjournment and members of the council may only speak. Carry on.
I have actually looked into the disabled parking outside the post office to some extent. County officially, well, or unofficially, no one has ever approached with any queries as to the disabled parking or any requests for disabled parking. The post office, I can only tell you
I can only tell you that people have approached me as well.
Yes. The post office itself has made no request or anything of that sort.
They're not disabled in the post office.
Their users may be. So I have looked into it to some extent, but there has been no request from any disabled parking in that sense. And a consultation would have to take place and all the relevant things. And of course it has to be a request, somebody's got to want it. And as far as we county is aware at the moment, nobody's been out. Yeah, but is it a formal application?
I've had people said that disabled parking should be moved from there outside the post office, which is the bank in the post office, and that's the suggestion that they've put forward to me. I'm passing it forward to you.
Well, it seems quite simple to me.
Pardon?
We put in a request for some parking, disabled parking outside of the post office, but I still think we should leave the other as it is.
I think there is a possibility, and I can only say possibility, can't preempt anything that may happen, that they will come along and look at it and say, well, there is disabled parking within, how far would it be, 15 yards?
Actually, it's quite a long way to walk.
Is it disabled?
Yeah. I think you'd be good.
There is that possibility, and there would have to be obviously all the usual consultation.
Yeah.
Right, so we can put a request in.
Yes.
Right, we'll get our get our clerk to write in a request to do that. And what do you want to word it, Marion?
As well as, but not instead of the other park.
As well as.
Only needs 2 or 3.
I quite understand that.
Yeah. But while we're on the subject of the post office, I don't know if anybody's got any influence, or we could write to the post office, could we have a post box, please?
Yes, absolutely.
It is absolutely ridiculous that the town centre has not got a post box.
No.
The old one's taped up, you have to queue inside to put your post in when you go into the post office. And I'll be honest with you, I don't find that post office disabled friendly at all. It is an absolute, it's so tight inside, small, whatever. I mean, he does his best, but you know, the steps and all the rest of it should have been better thought out. It needs a post box.
Councillor Gordon-Brown, and then
basically in agreement with Councillor Crossan and Councillor Wright, in the Chamber of Trade and Farley Tourism Association, this has been brought up twice, not only for the disabled parking, but about the cars that actually go in straight down Murray Street up to the side of the Everon Centre, particularly police cars, which obviously our lady's gone now, but the police also have 4 parking areas around the back which they appear to be, parking other, not allotted parking areas for the police, which basically park in other areas. And so when people go to use the post office, they're going into the car park and parking the car there willy-nilly, not the police, just people using the... so therefore then people can't get out that are paying for the money to have the use of that car park. And then if you go down the side, as I say, top of Cargate Hill, there was a van, it was a postal van, backing out, nearly caused a huge, because somebody was coming round the corner, top of Cargate Hill, and they were backing out. So it is quite a bad scenario there, and we're in full agreement with disabled people, even to get some of the road curbs dropped down for people to get over there now, because that's quite bad as well.
Yeah.
There is one on the side, in the middle.
So I
There is one on the right hand side of the street going up, is there?
There is, okay. I know what you want.
I'm sure you do. Thank you.
Right, thank you for that. At this point, I will move standing order 3 and adjourn the meeting to allow Councillor Cross to speak. Councillor Cross? Councillor Cockcroft.
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, in answer to Councillor Wright, I have heard, but very much third hand, that they are going to actually put a letterbox in on the outside wall, or a little bit. Don't know any time scale. That's just what I've heard. Sounds great.
Has Scarborough Council permission to do that then?
Well, yes, they would to the building, but that's what I've heard.
Right, thank you. We're now in the adjournment and members only of the Town Council can speak. Is there any more questions for Councillor Swires? No? No? Thank you very much, Councillor Swires, for coming along. We'll go on to number 6 now on the agenda. Town Clerk and RFO report. Council to receive a report from the Town Clerk and RFO.
I hope you've all had a chance to read it. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer. Any? Councillor Anthony.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was just finding out where it was.
Just to address the time, did you get the ad for the dog warden that I sent you?
I haven't looked at it, no, I've been in the office today, so...
I didn't understand what we've actually advertised for. It might be worthwhile you having a look, if you'd let me know what you think of it.
I will.
Okay.
I presume it's the dog warden that's going to be covering fire as well. Yeah. Okay.
Is there any more questions on the clerk's report? No? Okay then, we'll move on to number 7 on the agenda. Minutes of the ordinary meeting held on Wednesday the 13th of February 2019. I hope you've all had a chance to read the minutes. Please could I have a proposer and a seconder to approve them? Proposer? Seconder? Thank you. All those in favour? Please show.
Wasn't here. So I don't know if they're ready or not.
Right, thank you. Okay, we'll move on to Council Committee minutes and reports from local organisations and meetings. Council to receive a summary by the chair of the meetings below to know the minutes. Full council minutes of the meeting the 9th of January 2019. You have all had chance to read the minutes. Please could I have a proposer and a seconder to approve the minutes? Propose? Yep. Councillor Roderick. Oh, Councillor Roderick.
I was at that one.
Second. Oh, right. Right. Okay. Right, the minutes of the Bonham Richard one. Right. Please, could I have a proposer and a seconder to note these minutes? Was you was at Bonham Richard meeting?
I certainly was.
Yes, thank you. That's one. And who was the other one at Bonham Richard? Councillor Haxby. We've got a proposer and a seconder for those minutes. Just to note the minutes, so they've been noted. Okay. Number C, the staffing committee.
Chair, is it possible just to add to the Bono working party in case they don't know?
Yes.
Right. Today at the archives, we found a folder regarding the Bono battle, one thing or another, and they're in the archives in a folder. So if you want to view them, Friday, 10 or 12.
Sorry, I've just noted an error on the Bonham Richard one. You've put invitations for the next meeting next year. It's Curry Wells.
Kerry.
Not Kelly. Curry.
Curry. All right. So
Will be approved with that amendment.
And I'm not... Sorry?
I'll approve with that amendment, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Councillor Haxby.
I'll just ask us that. I think time's of the essence, whether we've been in touch with Calvert County.
Not yet.
Because, you know, time is now progressing, and I can see Burlingborough's deciding to go.
I'm coming in next. I'm actually coming in next week, Councillor Haxby, to write the letter out to get emailed across.
And have we been in touch with these potential members of the committee?
All people who were listed have been informed, many of which have come back accepting the invitation.
Because with all due respect, Mr. Mayor, I think even an email to Calvert County saying we are in the process of drafting a formal letter to you, however, please accept this as confirmation of our interest, etc., or continued interest.
Yes, fine.
Just something tomorrow that at least it
Yes,
keeps it
I can
boiling rather
yes, I
than...
can do that tomorrow, Councillor Haxby.
Thank you.
Councillor
I'd
Hodge.
just like to, full agreement with Councillor Haxby, because I sit on two of these committees and they are getting a bit lacklustre now, so I think he's quite correct in keeping the foot on the pedal. Because Valley Tourism and Valley Chamber Trade have both received their invites and have been wondering what's happening and where they're going with it, and I think time is of the essence, Councillor Haxby says.
Okay. Well, it will get done next week with a letter. We'll get written next week and sent by email, and we'll email them this tomorrow, saying to expect a letter of so. Okay, I'm quite happy with that.
Thank you.
Okay. Can we move on now then to staffing committee? Please could I have proposed and seconded to note these minutes?
I can propose that out there.
Councillor Holden Banks and Councillor Thurston. All right. We've noted the minutes now. Okay. Council to receive reports from members of meetings of local organisations, meaning outside meetings. Councillor Holden Banks.
Just to let you know that Chamber of Trade did have their AGM, and I'm the new chairperson, Richard Hayes is the deputy, Chris Ingham is the treasurer, and Karen Clark is the secretary. And we're still working along with Valley Tourism Association to amalgamate in a year.
Right.
Thank you.
Could I ask yourself, Councillor Holden Banks, if you could please send that information
I did.
to the office?
Yeah,
Thank
3rd of
you.
April.
Yeah, it's just, it is very difficult to contact people who haven't got the
No,
relevant.
it's
Thank you.
Right, is any more outside committees? Councillor Meek?
Just about skate park, which I've already told you about, just bring it up again under this subject. 1st of April, 1800, room 11, Everyone Centre.
Right, thank you. I went to actually a meeting this afternoon, British Legion one, this afternoon, and I haven't managed to get there for the last 3 meetings because of different things, mayoral things, and being away on a holiday the last one. Right, and I'm not coming back down from Scotland for a 10-minute meeting. So the thing is that I found out that they're putting a new seat up in the gardens there, and they actually want to put a light up to light the Soulview in the garden as well. Right. They were on about, they were discussing whether to put a light up that, what it's called now, it's gone out of my head now, that charges up from the sun, solar lighting, that's it, yeah, it just gone out of my head. And they're on about doing that, and I called in here this afternoon when the gardeners were in actually, and they knew about the seat and they know where they're going to put it, which is fine, but the lighting they didn't know about. Right, so I told them what was going to happen, right, that they're on about, well, I hope they aren't going to put any electric wiring down for the lights, because it's going to, for the cutting, the thing. So I said, well, I don't know, I'll come back to you on that one. But apparently Councillor Cockerell's been doing all the arrangements for them, for the garden. So, yeah. Councillor Anthony.
Can I ask, while we're on the subject, where the headstone came from that's in Memorial Garden? It just sort of turned up.
Where's the what?
The headstone that's in Memorial Garden.
The headstone, I know it is. The headstone was agreed by the British Legion Committee, and what it is actually a money box where people can put money in it. Yes! Oh. Yes, I'm not joking. It is. And I think they've got something else to put on it yet, I'm not sure. But
it's like dead people lying.
I wasn't at that meeting when it was decided on that one.
So who actually gave permission for it to be sighted?
Mr. Cockrell.
Scarborough Council.
Scarborough Council.
Through Council Cockrell, yeah.
So it's just in the wrong place altogether.
For anything that goes into Scarborough Council, you've got to put in for a licence to be built, to be put in. And I know that a request was put to the Estates Office for a licence for the siting of that. As we had to put request a licence to put the statue in there, which it may cost us £250 for the privilege of that licence to install and to have it there perpetuated.
It does nothing for the garden. It doesn't.
Can we recite it? Can we recite it somewhere in the Memorial Garden, somewhere less in your face, obviously, you know, over the wall or something?
Yes.
No?
Well,
as part of the licence, it does specifically state the location that you're going to put it. So the licence they currently have is for that location. So if they put it anywhere else, they've got to go back to them. Not impossible, but that's the way it has to go.
And would we have to go through Councillor Cockrell for that?
No, you go through the Estates Office, that's the way it should be done.
But they've gone through Councillor Cockrell to do it.
But it never came to
us. And I didn't know anything about it until it happened. So, Councillor Haxley.
Whilst it may well be Scarborough Council land, it is honouring the dead of Filey, not Scarborough, not Councillor Cockrell's relatives, nothing to do with Councillor Cockrell. It is just common decency to inform this town council of what's happening within its town.
That's right.
And I think we ought to write a strongly worded letter to Scarborough Borough Council deploring these unilateral decisions that we get absolutely no say in whatsoever, and it causes this sort of uproar.
Yeah.
And I really would like a strong letter going to them. Even if they just consulted us.
If I hadn't have been to that meeting, councillor, we wouldn't have known about the light.
In agreement with, sorry, through you, Chair, in agreement with Councillor Haxby is that I don't think anybody's got any issues about respecting the dead, it's just where it is, how it's come about. I've been asked so many questions. I had a conversation with Marilyn, neither of us knew where it had come from, it just appeared. And there's been, and I don't have anything on it as such, is there? There's no names on it, or...
No, there's no names.
No.
Just in the dead of all.
There's going to be a name on it. Yes, there's going to be a name, I'm sure it's on that. It's either on that or
Yeah,
the
money,
sea.
money box, that doesn't sound very good.
It is,
Money
it's a
box,
money
we
box.
don't-
Yes. If you want to, if you look at the back of it, you can see where they actually open it to take the money out.
Well, I don't think anybody that's spoken to me even knows that.
I'm not joking.
No, I'm sure you're not. I just wanted to
I was going to say it.
No.
All right. So that's my short report on what happened this afternoon after a lot of arguing and going on. Okay. Right, we'll move on then to council business items, finance items. 9, schedule of payments. Do any members wish to make a comment or ask a question about the schedule? No? No? Everything okay? Yes? Okay, you've had a chance to comment. Please could I have a proposal and a seconder to approve the schedule? Councillor Meek and Councillor Wright. All right? So that will be everybody's in agreement with approving the schedule. Thank you. Now we come on to number 10 on the agenda, local railway timetable. This item has been requested by Councillor Meek. Could Councillor Meek therefore provide a summary of the current situation?
An ex-councillor, I was concerned about not getting information regarding the new timetable. So I got onto an ex-councillor, the person's not here, so I can't name him.
No, you can't.
Very obliging, and he gave me Nick Harvey email. Passed it on to the town clerk, made contact, and I don't know if Nick here.
Yeah,
We haven't met actually. So, instead of me reading out, which to me is all new, I don't suppose, could we ask Nick to comment?
Yes, I can. I'll just adjourn the meeting so you can do. I'm sorry, I've got to do this. We can't just say, right, okay, you know, we've got to adjourn the meeting, subject to order 3, and let Nick?
I sent the town clerk some details. I don't know if they've been circulated with them or not yet. Might be just circulate those afterwards. I've got a paper about the background to the railway line, starting from 1990, which gives you how far the town was very concerned when its train service were cut in 1990, and then a long campaign trying to get the services improved on the railway line. Well, 4 of us from our village went to meet with Kevin Hollyrake and Northern Rail in Easingwold. It'll be about 3 weeks ago, about the new railway timetable. The railway changes timetables twice a year, and from May there will be an improvement to the train service here which has been long awaited. So you'll have, instead of 9 trains at random times running to Scarborough and Hull, you'll have 14 trains running every hour. On a Sunday, the trains will be doubled from 6 trains every 2 hours to a train every hour. The problems when the timetable was first drafted were, key one was that the trains weren't going to connect at Scarborough, well at Seamer with Transpennine services,
and at Hull with Transpennine services, and that the time of what is known as the workers' train, which gets people into Scarborough for around about 8:15 in the morning, would have been moved to 3 minutes to 9, with an earlier train put in that got people in about 7:30 in the morning. So it would make it very difficult if you were going to college, work for 9 o'clock, hospital appointments. Minor problems were some of the trains weren't due to stop at Huntingdon and Benton, and the other minor point was some of the through trains that currently run through from Filey and Huntingdon through to Sheffield and Doncaster would all be curtailing at Hull. We took up at the meeting at Easingwold at 2 main points. Those are the workers' train to Scarborough and the lack of connections. The meeting didn't have much optimism, to be honest with you, because it was 3 weeks ago. The railway timetable should have been finalised and signed off by that time, so any movement will be minimal. In fact, the meeting was very positive. We met with Pete Myers from Northern Rail, who was very helpful, open and honest. They are going to make sure that the workers' train keeps coming to Scarborough at around about 8:15 in the morning. They will try and reduce the impact of the trains not connecting at Scarborough. So what they're looking at doing is putting announcements out to ask people to change at Scarborough if the trains don't connect, so not waiting at an isolated platform, and they'll be investigating whether they can make some discounts for passengers that are coming through the coast at the catering establishment at Scarborough Station. The timetable will change in May. There is no definite timetable at the moment. It's still confidential, it's still not published. Every other railway company in the country have produced their timetable. They work on the basis that timetable has to be produced 12 weeks in advance of people to book. There is going to be another timetable change in December. Concerns raised, Northern Rail have been helpful. They're going to try and look at them. I had an email back from Pete Myers today, who is willing to come and meet with Filey Town Council. Usually he meets with people like the Transport for North and the county councils, but he's prepared to come to Filey Town Council. I put back a suggestion possibly to invite Hunby Parish Council, which is a neighbouring village. I'll send the details through to your parish clerk for that, and that is basically it. And if the notes are sent through, could we just circulate to each member, it would cover the points I've said.
Councillor, just a minute. I will now end the adjournment. I know the members of the council may speak. Councillor.
Well, it's actually a question to you, to Nick.
Go on then, I can do that.
Was there any mention myself? I worked for Northern Rail for 10 years in the rostering section. John worked longer than me for Northern Rail in the resource centre. That's the day-to-day running, what's commonly known as control. Was there any mention of a service between York and Scarborough for Northern Rail?
Yes. Yeah.
Because the reason we asked that question is, we're working there that long, we reckon that the service would be able to timetable it better if the train comes from York into Scarborough and then the same unit goes on and makes our service down to Hull. And that helps a single line between Filey and, well, between Brid and Seaman.
Is that answer that?
Yes, come on back out.
Right. At the meeting, I just want to keep it brief because we're not letting the meeting. The proposals that will happen in May, that's the main one that happens here. In December, what Northern Rail do is they put on a York to Scarborough hourly shuttle, 14 trains a day. What they also, this is what they will do, it's a timetable, it's a franchise commitment. What they also have in a franchise commitment is a 12 service a day to run between Bridlington, Hull and Leeds. One thing that has happened, as I've got two people I've worked for the rail industry, it's a bit more detailed, I can explain it. 2 years ago, this is when the franchises were being drawn up. East Riding is the key authority to decide the timetable for this section line, because mostly lies in the East Riding area. There was a large outcry because Northern Rail wished to sever the link between Scarborough, Bridlington, Hull and the Sheffield service, to run the line not going as a through service. Unfortunately, the timetable process in the north is done confidentially. Other rail operators have an open consultation. Unfortunately, when you have things that are done in private and then they come into the public domain, there's often an outcry because people haven't been consulted. And this happened around Beverley and East Riding, in that they found out that Northern Rail were planning to stop having their through trains from Bridlington, Beverley and Hull to South Yorkshire. Because of the petition, and it went to a scrutiny committee in East Riding, the outcry, Northern Rail responded and said, we will promise to keep your through service to Sheffield from Bridlington. Because they've done that and made a promise, they don't want to go back on it. What has actually happened is what is known as unforeseen consequences have happened. As in, because Northern Rail promised that service, meant that Northern Rail cannot run a train between Hull and Scarborough because it is occupied by the time the train runs from Sheffield to Bridlington. This means that they can't connect the train at both ends of the line because they've given a promise to East Riding. I've been to East Riding, and it's in the documents that are circulated. Their scrutiny chair was very helpful. They were unaware of the unintended consequences. They haven't been informed that because they have said they wanted a through train to Sheffield, Northern Rail were about to pull out of the franchise commitment to run a train from Bridlington to Leeds. I've talked with East Riding and said, are you aware that because you asked for a Bridlington to Sheffield train service, that is now taking precedent over having a direct train from Bridlington, Beverley to Leeds? They're unaware of that. So they will be discussing that at the scrutiny committee towards the end of May, which is an open forum. At the meeting at Easingwold, the documentation I produced, which is a background paper, had mention of a man called David Wharton Street, who was a provincial manager of Eastern Region of British Railways, who oversaw the cutbacks of the services on the line here in 1990, where Farley Town Council were very vocal. They didn't want to see the line services cut back, along with the Chief Executive of the time, Scarborough Council, and the local paper. David Wharton Street said that unfortunately with the services in the 90s, it was a bad time for the railway. They were losing traffic, particularly on rural areas. They had to make savings because the railways are losing a lot of money. The only growth was on urban and intercity routes. We took the trains off this sectional line to bolster service between Bridlington and Hull, which was a service into an urban area. But David Wharton Street said that the line is being retained, the twin track between Hunterby and Filey, so that if traffic levels rejuvenate, and he foresaw by the year 2000, according to the paper, that congestion would start to become an issue in rural areas, that the line was there if it was ever needed. Because I mentioned his name in a document, I found out his address and wrote to him. And 2 days before the meeting at Easingwold, he just received a letter I sent him. He said, would you like me to come along to your meeting? Which I was really pleased about. Really nice bloke. He's offered to help. Now, David Wharton Street mentioned exactly the same point you were raising just now about could the York Scarborough service be connected into a Scarborough to Hull service. He's keen to come and help where he can. He's a retired British Railways worker in his 70s. So I hope that answers your question.
Yep, thank you.
Right. Yeah.
Could I just take the opportunity to pay tribute to all the work that Nick has put in
Oh,
on
yes.
and the knowledge that we brought to it, because I could not have explained it anything near as well.
Right, the first point is, do we want a special meeting for this actual meeting, if we want a meeting with this guy for Nick's been telling us about to come and speak to us. Councillor Meek?
Personally, I would say yes, it will be beneficial to the residents of Filey.
A special meeting, so that is the only thing that's on the actual agenda, right? Because if somebody comes and speaks in the council chamber, it just makes things go on a long time as on the full council meeting. So if we have a special meeting on this, just for that, right, it would be a lot better and people would take, it would sink in more, because the longer you take on a meeting, the less chance you have of understanding everything that's going on, especially if you've got 14 or 15 items on the agenda, and then you have a long one, if you follow where I'm coming from. So, did I hear you say something about such as Humberby or something like that coming to the same one?
Yeah, I got an email from Pete Myers today. I can send through to town clerk his details. He said that is fine to do. He's happy to meet a daytime. We can do an evening meeting as well for you. He suggested May. What I brought back to him and said, I realise he's a stakeholder manager, so it's unusual for him to meet with the parish council, the town council. I just suggested, rather than asking to come to Hundenby or Bempton, here would be a central place, and then any council that were interested from Bempton and Hundenby to the three stations are affected. Just a little invite to the clerks to say it's here, you can come and.
If members are agreeable, if they come here, we could host that meeting, and then you could cover it all in one meeting, then instead of the guy going to 2 or 3 different ones. Okay, if you give them the chance then to do that. Is everybody on the members agreeable to that? Councillor Haxton? Yes, fully. Okay. So, when? May? May when? Because we'll have a new councillors then, and we've got, I'll be here until the 15th of May, and then that's me finished as well. So, okay, so we've got to think of, with there being an election as well, it's an election to the others as well, so we've got to think about that as well on the day.
And we'll be further then, we'll be in further.
Yes, and we will be in further still, not after the elections, from now until the actual election day, through the election day until the results are given. Right? Okay? So, it's going to be a bit awkward, to say the least. Because you've got to be when you're in 30, you've got to be very, very careful what you actually say and what you say.
Well, it'll have to be made.
I'm going to stop at that because I'll go into it myself. But any members of this council wish to get a paperwork on Purdah, David has actually downloaded some, and I'm not joking, it will be a good thing for our members to have it. And then you aren't falling into any traps. Okay, Councillor Meek.
I would suggest that the town clerk gets in touch with Nick and the other gentleman and arrange a date after the 2nd of May.
After the
2nd of May. After the election.
I'm quite agreeable on that.
If I could suggest, the train timetable changes on the 19th of May is the date of the new timetable. If you had it before the end of May, you'd be able to hear, people here would have seen what the current timetable actually has come into force and be very more permanent for you, which is also then after your election period. It's probably also easier for the railway authorities because timetable change periods, just like elections, are a traumatic time for them. So probably towards the end of May.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
that's
fine.
just a suggestion.
Yes, if you and our clerk get in touch with one another on that one, and whoever the mayor is at that time, it will have to go through him, because he has to call a special meeting. Okay? Councillor Meek.
I'd like to thank Nick for coming tonight and
Yes.
the talk on it.
Don't